Okay, here is number 5 on homework 6.1. So this is just a discrete probability distribution. And what we have for for a woman that was giving birth, that was 42 to 47 years old, what number uh, what number child was she giving birth to? Was it the first, second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth? And so this is the number of births, and then this is the probability. So the question is, looking at this graph, what is the probability that a randomly selected 42 to 47-year-old mother who had a live birth in 2015 had her fourth baby? And so we just look at that, and the probability of that is 0.113, about 11%, right? And what probability was it that it was her fourth or fifth live birth in that year? So we just look at 4 and 5, right? Fourth or fifth. These are mutually exclusive, so we don't have to, subtract any kind of intersection. We just add the two numbers together. So that's about 11%, and that's about 10%. Together, we're looking at what? 0.215. Okay. And what is the probability that she had six or more, that she had her sixth or more live birth of that year? So she could have had a sixth, a seventh, or an eighth baby, and we're wondering what the probability that she had one of those is. So that's just the addition of these three, okay? Which, when you add it, that's what? 14, 20, 6, 8, 9. 0.09, about 9%. Okay, and then the last one's we have to do a little bit more work for that, right? I mean, everything up until this point, we either just looked at one of these numbers or added a couple of these numbers together. In the next question, we're asked, so if you just had a randomly, if you had a random mother who's giving birth in 2015 that was 42 to 47 years old, what would you expect this to be in terms of the number of births she had over her lifetime? Would it be would you expect it to be on average the second or the third baby? And so we need to figure that out. And what this is going to feel like, because it's really just a weighted average. So we're going to go ahead and multiply all these number of live births by their probability and just add those up. Okay. So the first thing I did was I just made it on my paper. So you can see the whole paper a little bit better. First thing I did on my paper was just write the number of live births and then the probability next to it. Now, if you want to do this in a spreadsheet, you can actually save a little bit of time. And then what I do is I just multiply each of the weights, right, by the probability of that weight. This is why it's called a weighted average. And so I just, on all these rows, I've done the multiplication, and here are the numbers I got when I did that multiplication. Now I'm just going to add them up, okay, to get the average. And it ends up being 2.94. I think they only want one decimal place, so we're just going to write 2.9. And so that's all for that question. This one's, like I said, finding the average is a bit tougher than just reading like you do in parts A through C.